Welcome to Happily Ever Aftermath,
the podcast where we discuss relationships in movies and our relationships with them.
I'm Polina Grinbaum.
And I'm Diana Rojek-Sconard.
Hello, Diana.
Hey, Polina, what's going on?
Not much. Had a nice day.
Yeah, me too. We're going on, 11 hours together so far?
Yeah, and I haven't wanted to kill you yet.
That's almost
sweet.
sweet
To talk about.
That's almost sweet.
Including the third rail of politics.
Oh, well. Wait,
anyway,
what?
We're not going to talk about that here.
Not
on the podcast.
I didn't even hear what that was, but I don't want to ask what that was. We're talking about The Wedding Singer.
We are going to talk about The Wedding Singer. There are no politics in The Wedding Singer. It's very nice.
Well, it is the politics of the 80s.
Yeah.
The last song of the movie was from the Presidents of the United States of America.
Oh my God, that was a genius moment that you just did there. I love what you just did. Okay, but we're not going to talk about our current president.
You
right?
spin me right,
baby,
right. That's what I was thinking the whole time that I knew I had to watch this movie. I'm like, that song's the beginning of the movie. That song's going to be in my head for a while.
You know, that's one of my favorite songs, and I listen to it over and over again, but I have to say this movie made me realize what the actual lyrics were.
Their lyrics?
Yeah, exactly. No, that was exactly my moment. Okay.
Like a record, baby.
So, yeah, talk to me about The Wedding Singer.
1998 film.
1998, very true.
But set in 1985, Adam Sandler plays a nice guy with a broken heart who's stuck in one of the most romantic jobs in the world, a wedding singer. I don't know if that's true, but okay.
I don't know if that's the most romantic
How about
job
this?
in the world.
That's a job that gives you exposure to romance.
Yes, you probably see a lot of romance in your day-to-day life.
It's not a romantic job. It's just a job around. Yeah. Okay. He loses
it's romance adjacent.
Actually, weddings are a business, so a lot of the romance gets sucked out of it. Although I do believe that if you can get through wedding planning, you have a good foundation for a marriage.
Oh, totally. Actually, my husband, when we got married, I was like, the minute we get married, we're going to go to therapy. And then we realized, oh, we don't need therapy. We just need to never plan a wedding again, and we'll be fine.
No renewal of vows in this marriage, my friend.
No. Right. We're going on 13 years, and that hasn't come up. No.
Okay. But so back to Robbie Hart. We actually didn't mention that, but Adam Sandler plays Robbie Hart, and he loses all hope when he is abandoned at the altar by his fiance. Literally at the altar.
No, quite. Yeah, he's at the altar,
him, and he is not
and she's
pleased.
Nowhere to be found.
Yeah, he meets
She did leave a note, but not in the location.
No,
not in the right place. I would
not with a person going to.
No, just somewhere in some house. Like she left
didn't
a note
with her
suicide.
mom.
Oh, that's it.
She left a note with her mom. The mom also not at the wedding,
which is odd.
So he finds out through the sister. But he meets a young woman named Julia, Drew Barrymore, who enlists his help to plan her wedding. He falls in love with her and must win her over before she gets married. So in this particular...
It's a race against time.
Yeah, in a manner of speaking. I mean, so I remember...
Yeah, how did you find this movie?
I remember when it came out. I remember the trailer. In fact, reminiscing about the trailer, I remember... So for those of you who are new to our podcast, we get into it like crazy. So if you haven't seen The Wedding Singer, or if you care about us spoiling the end of The Wedding Singer,
which frankly you really shouldn't,
pause it, go back. Also, it's a romantic comedy, so I think you should really get your priorities in order to realize
exactly. That. If you're one of those spoiler people, but
No. I'm all about spoiler people. Again, I still haven't seen Saving Private Ryan. Don't tell me what's happening. I think I may have just...
So you also can't read any books about World War II. Actually, that's about the Vietnam War. I don't even remember.
It's about World War II now?
It is. And so, yeah, I forgot. Anyway, whatever. I'm so tired. I'm going on day
all I know is
of
Tom Hanks is not Saving Private Ryan. Is not Private Ryan.
Let's not talk about Saving Private Ryan.
So
I don't want to spoil it.
The whole point is we're a little punch drunk right now. 11 hours, people. 11 hours. The whole deal is that Adam Sandler falls in love with Drew Barrymore. And they decide to make 3 more movies together.
Yep.
No, 2 more movies together. 3 movies total.
Some people have babies. Some people will make movies.
Oh, yeah.
But movies make money and babies cost money, though I guess maybe not. I don't know.
The trailer.
Yes.
I remember him singing a line of the song that he writes her in the trailer. And that romantic scene, because The trailer also is just like, I got to get going. And then he's speaking to Rosie, the older woman who he's giving music lessons to for her 50th anniversary. And he's just like, I got to go. I'm sorry. She's like, go get him. And I'm like, well, that's the ending.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
it's not quite the ending, but it's the very last. She's like, oh, okay, so he's going to fall in love with her.
I don't think we watch movies like this because of like plot twists. I think you watch movies like this because you know how to end it. You just want to see the process.
The fact that he sings in the trailer, even let you hold the remote control, which is just such a great line.
That is.
It is. I like
Why
that
would
song.
she? It's a beautiful. It's actually a very sweet song.
It's
but
very
that remote control thing is weird. Like,
no, it's a.
Why wouldn't she? Why?
That's a beautiful sentiment right there. Who didn't fight over the remote control?
Oh, so they're just eliminating the fighting. It's not like I own the remote control. No, but I will let you take it just in case. It's like, I'm never going to fight about this because I will just always give it to you. Is that your interpretation?
No, he loves her that much that even though I like to have control of the remote control, I'll let you have it.
I feel like they should have negotiated this before, but whatever,
I'll get you medicine.
See, I don't have any quibbles with any other line in that movie.
I bought the soundtrack. 2 CDs worth. So volume 1, volume 2, twice, because I got it as a gift for my friend Crystal. And then I also got it for myself because damn it, I love that music.
It's really fun music. Like I think I was like, have I seen this whole movie? I feel like this is one of those movies I saw by accident. And maybe even not the whole thing. Like it was on TV or it was on a plane.
I got it. I rented it.
Yeah. Like over and over again. Was it a Blockbuster? Was it one of those, did you go to rent the movie? Or did you go there and the movie that you wanted wasn't there, which happened all the time?
No. See, I rented it, watched it, enjoyed it, bought it. Not from the place, I don't think. I think this was a Best Buy purchase.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I typically would not buy movies before I saw them.
No, of course not.
Well, no. Some people do that, and I'm just like, what?
I don't understand that.
I don't get it.
I did that with records, but that's different.
Yeah,
or tapes
maybe.
Later on. Or CDs, even later.
Yeah, so no, I definitely watched this a lot. I definitely watched like parts of it, but considering how much music is in this movie, this was not a movie I watched. This is a movie I listened to a lot.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I think I have that with a lot, like, Pretty in Pink and Some Kind of Wonderful, and where the soundtrack is more that is almost, I realize is the thing I did over and over again.
With listening to a movie because of the music, you think I would be all over musicals.
No, I don't know. Pretty in Pink, Some Kind of Wonderful.
I like music-oriented movies.
Yeah, of course. High Fidelity.
Oh, yeah, that was...
I mean, I don't know. It's that's a different thing. Like, I don't even know if people who like movie musicals, like, always listen to the music separately.
Like a record,
baby, right. That could be our theme song. I feel like that's our conversations are kind of like that.
I'm wondering if the music is so far into it that I just probably didn't even care about the movie itself.
No, the music, yeah, they reuse the music really well. And I think the other thing about the movie that I think is really great, and I want to get into your relationship and what you loved about it.
The music.
Well,
not
beyond
true.
After.
Not true.
So I thought that the thing of watching this movie, I thought that they did actually like a kind of a pitch perfect job of making fun of the 80s, but it not getting in the way. Like, they're just these great scenes. Like, you've got his best friend,
Alan Covert.
Yeah,
Sammy, who wants to be Fonzie. I do want to be like Fonzie.
Oh my God, I love that. Like, that was one of the things I wrote down. I was like, Fonzie is in this movie. It was like, welcome to the 80s, where Fonzie is a role model.
Well, also Henry Winkler appears in The Waterboy. So I'm wondering, that really brings up the question of timing. Like, Oh God! See, now I have to see when The Waterboy came out.
All right.
Because no. Just
I'll let you do that. But
well, no,
I'll make my.
I read trivia for this movie, and I'm surprised that I didn't see it. Like, they mentioned Fonzie in this movie. Henry Winkler would later appear, or earlier appeared. Oh my God! It came out the same year. They came out the same year.
I wonder if it was like a little nod,
little wink to him.
Yeah.
Well, then again,
because he mentioned somebody else too. He mentioned
Vinny Barbarino.
Vinny Barbarino. Yeah.
Yeah. I did not want to be.
I didn't want to be either of them. But anyway.
Do you want to be either of them now?
Well, much like Sammy says, nobody wants to see a 50-year-old man hitting on a woman or hitting on chicks.
I don't know.
Which is not entirely true.
That's very not true.
I was like, that's a complicated statement. There's certain 50-year-old men. I don't want to see them hitting on chicks in an unwanted manner.
Yeah.
But
that would just be really sweet, actually. Depending on the circumstances. I could be into that rom-com.
Just 50-year-old men hitting on women?
Well, I don't remember the exact line. If he was saying, like, 50-year-old men hitting on teenage girls, that's definitely a no.
But just... Anyway.
Well, I'd like to comment back on what you were saying about the 80s things that were part of it. It's like, some of it, yes, some of it, no. Some of it was just like, and some of it was just like, oh, well, yes, that did exist in the 80s. Like the Rubik's Cube joke.
The Rubik's Cube joke, nobody could solve it. See, I guess because that was such a, to me, that is when I came of age. So, and it's something I don't think, and I'm like, oh,
that's when I became of life. Go on.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like I went back and I really was very much like, oh, those things weren't jokes. They were things that people did. Like people did show up in places wearing wearing the Michael Jackson jacket and the glove.
The one glove.
The one sparkly glove.
Uh-huh.
And people did try to teach, old men to break dance in bars. Like that.
Okay.
It actually, so to me, I don't know, it felt.
If I may.
Yes.
That older gentleman at the bar.
Yes.
That eventually was wearing said jacket you were just describing. Has my favorite line in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I reminisced about laughing my ass off because I also laughed my ass off when Adam Sandler is heartbroken because he's in love with Drew Barrymore's character, but she's getting married to somebody else, and he's just like, women, what do? They and he looks over to that guy over there and he goes, they rip your heart out of your ass. He's right. And for some reason,
for some reason,
I don't even really teenage me. Hilarious. 35-year-old me, still hilarious.
I think that's fair. I think you can stand by that. Yeah, it was not there so much, but it was just enough there, like the clothes, and I don't know. I enjoyed it. But what was it that you found like romantically?
I'd like to readdress the rewatching of this movie because first half of it, there was just parts of it where it's just like, oh, it's back to fun again. Adam Sandler singing. And I think Adam Sandler wanted to be a rock star the same way I think Will Ferrell just wanted all of us to see him naked. Mm-hmm. If you look at past movies, Adam Sandler, he had albums and he had all these different things. My best friend had a bunch of his CDs and we would listen to them. Comedy CDs, but there would also be like singing of certain types.
I've heard some of the songs.
And then if you look at like Will Ferrell's movies of the early 2000s, I'm just like, wow, he's not wearing clothes again.
Yeah, he's kind of really into being like in tighty whities.
Something like that, running around or naked in Old School or other movies. Yeah, or Ballad of Ricky Bobby, where he's I'm on fire. I'm like, yeah, he's naked again.
Yeah,
yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Adam Sandler, my relationship with Adam Sandler is like, I think I like him, or I think I don't like him, and then I see him, and I'm like, oh, he's not that terrible. Why don't I like him? And then it goes back, and then I forget why I like him, and then I see him again, and I'm like, no, that wasn't great.
Well,
but
I think the more recent movies like Jack and Jill and Pixels.
Oh, see, I haven't even seen.
Well, yeah, it's okay. So I loved Adam Sandler movies.
Okay,
Billy Madison, really? Happy Gilmore, The Waterboy.
Again, hadn't seen any of these.
Had these movies. Thinking back to them, there are certain lines that are just great. I bet you if you were to go to one of my family dinners, someone will say O'Doyle rules.
So that was like that was family comedy.
Not just family comedy, but just like random little pieces will come in there. Oh, no, not my parents. but like my siblings.
Well, that's what I mean. Like
yeah, no, my parents will not know what O'Doyle rules means.
Yeah,
but
that's what I mean by family. Like your
just family. well, no, my friends too. Yeah, that's some good stuff right there. And my best friend Aaron and I loved Saturday Night Live. Mm-hmm. We could do Opera Man.
I actually really liked him on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah,
and then other stuff I've seen of his, I'm just like, kind
of a shrug. I
think that kind of like I think it's like an age thing, maybe. I don't know.
Well, it's like Adam Sandler should not command like that much money for movies, but his movies make a ton of money, so why should we really question it? But
no, I'm not. It's just a personal thing. I'm not like he's terrible and I can't believe people like him, but like I really enjoyed him in this movie. It like made me realize I really enjoy it.
Well, no, it's kind of justified though, because if you watch his later movies, it's just like, why? No, that was a question.
Yeah. Why? I don't know. I really don't, because I haven't seen any of his later movies, so I can't answer.
But I believe that the whole thing between Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore, it's like Elvis or the Beatles, or the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. You cannot love them equally. You have to love one more than the other.
I'm going to take your word for that, because I still have no desire to see either of them.
Do you have a Elvis Beatles?
Do I have an Elvis Beatles?
No. Do you? Who do you love more, Elvis or the Beatles?
That's like asking me to pick my favorite child. The Beatles.
Okay. Who do you love more, of the Rolling Stones or the Beatles?
Oh my God. You're such a cruel... I can't play this game. Why are you making me play this horrible game? What, do I have to kill one of them in this game?
No, you're
do I have to kill anyone?
Okay, fine. Star Wars or Star Trek? You can't love them equally.
Star Wars.
Yeah, you can't love... The whole point is that you can't love them equally. You have to love one.
I really like Star Trek. Okay.
Do you love Star Wars or Star Trek more?
You are a terrible person.
You are a horrible person for not proving my point. Yes, and Polina. Yes, and.
Yes, and. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Damn.
This is really hard.
Podcast is over.
I'm so tired.
The point is Adam Sandler movies. I love Happy Gilmore more. Although there are lines in Billy Madison that I appreciate so much more. Okay.
Sure.
The point is... This podcast is over.
And they never saw each other ever again.
We're really tired. Okay. For this particular...
I still love you.
Despite
like
the
fact
I like you.
Just you made me make a Sophie's Choice, and now I feel I have this really crazy anxiety that I have to kill, that I had to kill the
Who's killing anything?
I don't know.
There is no killing.
Okay, good.
All right. So in this romantic comedy...
This light, fun, happy, frothy romantic comedy that's full of joy and laughter.
What's happening is that it's merging romantic comedy with Adam Sandler sensibilities. So
I see where you were going somewhere.
No, I wasn't, but I'm here now.
but you've arrived.
So what was really nice about it...
I like it here.
Well, that's the hardest part, because when he has been left at the altar and he's singing at a wedding and he's going crazy, I feel horrible for it. And it's supposed to be funny because he's going off the rails and he's ruining a person's wedding. And the whole time he's just like, but he's also insulting people while he's doing it.
Yeah.
The fat guy at this table, the lady with the sideburns at this table, and the mutants at table 9.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, shout out to Brian Posehn, who's uncredited at that table. And I'm like, oh, it's Brian Posehn attacking Adam Sandler. That's awesome. So I thought that was pretty funny.
That is very cool.
But what the next step of that, it's just like, okay, well, I don't have this humor anymore. And the next step of that made me feel really bad, and that's also the hint that I've outgrown Adam Sandler movies, is the part where he's bonding with Drew Barrymore's character Julia, and he's trying to help out the kid at the bar mitzvah who was rejected by the girl.
Oh, yes, I know where this is going.
Yeah, and anyone who's seen this movie knows. So he's just like, all right, I'd like to make a shout out to Julia, wonderful woman. Now, Julia, I want you to pick the least losery guy in the whole room. And, sure enough, she picks the boy who got rejected.
Yeah.
And he dances with her. And it's like, oh, it's a very sweet moment, until the boy decides to use that opportunity where he can grab her ass in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And that was just...
And then, to make it worse, instead of her going like... She just like kind of looks at him like shocked.
Like, what the hell?
And then she's like... and then
Adam Sandler.
Instead of taking his hands, like she should have, because this is a teachable moment.
But it's the 80s / early 90s. It's the 90s. I'm confused.
whatever time period this movie was actually made in, somebody should know.
Well, also, go ahead, go on.
And then everybody else, it's so uncomfortable. Everyone else dances with, like, to make it okay, everyone else puts their hands on, like, everyone gets up and dances and puts their hands on each other's butts.
Well, no, it one step beyond. So Robbie, trying to make it like a funny moment, he decides to start dancing with a girl.
Yeah.
And he moves her hands onto his.
Yeah, which I guess was better than the alternative.
I don't think no, none of it is good.
No, yeah, you're right.
None of it is
good.
Right,
sorry.
And yes, we have to recognize
But I'm like, this is a teachable moment. And then suddenly everybody else comes up and
Polina,
is like...
It was 85/98. We didn't have teachable moments back then.
Oh, what was the year? Somebody. What's the year of teachable moments? When did that happen? 1999.
No.
It was a year too late.
I'm gonna say 2011.
2011.
I don't know. I made that up.
After 9/11, it was all teachable moments.
Well, not 9/11. 2011. This has gone way too far. Okay, Adam Sandler movies.
Yes.
So I am going to recognize that part in the movie, but I will also say that by that point going forward, you know, it just kind of slid into just a nice, sweet romantic movie, because you've got Drew Barrymore is getting married. They're planning the wedding together. They're spending a lot of time together. And you know what every movie has. Any movie that I watch, you got to love a montage.
Oh my God, yes.
And
this is our first wedding planning montage.
And if
there was cake, there were...
Trying on the dresses.
They were trying on the dresses. And she had to plan this wedding in like 3 weeks.
Like 3 weeks.
Yeah. And she's very chill for somebody who's planning a wedding in 3 weeks.
She moved out for this guy, Glenn Guglia, who is
and then she beat Julia Guglia, which is the one that I totally remember that. Like, that was the first thought I had when you recommended this movie. I was like, isn't that the Julia Guglia movie?
And what's funny,
which I just love. That totally cracks me up.
Well, there's certain lines in this movie, the delivery, I just think of my brother Patrick, because she's going to be Julia Guglia. That's funny. Huh, why is that funny? I don't know. I don't know why, but that particular cadence, I can feel my brother saying it.
I don't know. Patrick is kind of makes me wish I had a brother. If I had a brother, I'd like it to be like Patrick.
I'm sorry, I have two brothers, and I cannot spare a single one.
Okay. Oh, damn. Okay.
I own them.
All right.
Doyle rules. Okay.
I thought we'd made up, and now, I'm questioning our entire relationship again. Come on, you have 2. I have none. This is very unfair.
Yes, and not only that, but we got to work on our improv skills. All right. Wedding montage. That was very nice. Hall & Oates. Thank you very much.
Oh, yes. And a fantastic Hall & Oates song, too.
Ryan joined me for the second half of the movie, so he's sitting with me. We are laughing as Adam Sandler is putting his best friend through the ringer, who is the limo driver.
Okay, that is one of my favorite scenes. I rewatched it just now because we were looking. I was like, can we just rewatch the montage to get in the mood? And I just thought it was hysterically funny.
He has the mannequin bride and groom as he's going through the cones.
Yeah, and he has to stop out of the cones in the limo.
Jump out of the limo. Put them into the car.
He picks them up and puts them under his arm and shoves them in
and they're timing him the whole time. You better hurry up, man.
And then he's like, what if those were guests? And he's like, they were cones. And he's what I love is his commitment to trying to get it right. And then Julia points out, like, he's the only limo driver in the whole town.
Yeah, and
which seems a little insane, but he's like,
well, he's
I really have to hire him. He's like, no, I just like messing with him or whatever. That's so
great.
Good. I love that.
Yeah, some parts of it where he's making fun of his best friend, it's funny like that. And there are other instances. I think it's so over the top ridiculous. I'm enjoying and appreciating it. But other parts where he's actually saying in front of Julia what Sammy said at the beginning, it's just like, that girl's in trouble.
Yeah.
She's and she doesn't even know it. And he decides to repeat all of that in front of her. She's like, oh, really? And he's just like, no. And I'm like, okay, well, that's just embarrassing. So yeah, some part of it is just like, that's just embarrassing. Other parts of it, he's just like, nah, I'm just messing with them.
Yeah.
See, I don't know. It's just certain lines, I
just think they have such a very close relationship that I really like. Like, they are Like their relationship is. I don't mean Julia, but I mean Sammy's.
Robbie.
I keep calling him Adam Sandler, which I have a terrible habit
Rob,
of doing.
and Sammy.
Rob and Sammy. Their relationship is so sweet.
I want to be like Fonzie.
Oh yeah. Oh God. Oh.
Yeah, they're just like the little pieces of the movie, are nice, and I guess it's like the way guys like bust each other's chops.
Yeah, exactly. Like it felt very much the way, I don't know. It reminds me of close male friends that I've seen and their way of being, that are genuinely close and care about each other.
I suppose I just don't like the busting each other's chops in front of other people situation.
Yeah, but I think first off, let's remember, they have grown up in this town.
Okay.
Their entire lives. It seems to be on the East Coast where that's how everybody, I don't know, certain places, that's how a lot of people talk to you. But I'm not sure. I don't know where it is.
I typically pay attention to the license plates, but I didn't this time.
No, but clearly it's not, it's not close enough to drive to Vegas.
Right. Where they go on Vegas Airlines.
Oh my God, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I noticed it for the first time last night.
That's
Vegas
so
Airlines.
Brilliant. Oh, that's such a brilliant touch.
Beautiful.
Okay, well, so can we talk about Robbie and Julia's relationship?
So they're both just very sweet people. I don't like that seems to be their big character traits. They're very conscientious of other people. They seem to be on the same personality level. And so she plans her wedding. Like when she sees him rescue a wedding after a bad best man toast, a cameo by Steve Buscemi, basically very angry at his brother, very bitter, about all this other stuff, and basically tries to ruin it. And he and Robbie sweeps in and tries to turn it back to the love of the relationship. Yeah. She's like, oh, this is somebody that it would be really nice to be friends with. And she does. She makes friends with him, and he gets left at the altar. She tries to, make sure he's okay.
Yeah, and she's new in town.
She is new in town. She came to the area so she could be with her Bond trader fiance.
Wait, isn't he's in junk bonds?
That's what she said, junk bonds. And I have a question. I don't know too much about financial instruments. Oh, okay.
I think I know what a junk bond is, but I'm really afraid of getting it wrong.
But
and if my father suddenly starts listening to this, he's gonna be very angry if I get it wrong.
Well, the whole thing is he lives in Wall Street and he's in bonds, and I'm just like,
well, wait. So she was saying that he.
Well, no, that
he works in the city. So if it's New York,
so maybe upstate New York or Jersey.
Yeah, it wouldn't be upstate New York. That would be too far.
I don't know how New York works. Okay.
Well, it works like many states. Do you mean you don't understand how the geography of the tri-state area works? Or I'm going to guess that it's New Jersey, actually.
Jersey.
Because he does a lot of things set in New Jersey. Adam Sandler, doesn't he?
Well, not in The Waterboy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's definitely down south.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, okay. No, but my point is that...
It's a place with only 2 Jewish families. Because he starts doing bar mitzvahs and he goes...
4. Oh, well.
Yeah, there's a small number. A limited number.
A limited number. Well, the whole point I was trying to get is that bonds... they're known to be more stable financial instruments, so I'm wondering.
But junk bonds are not.
I don't know anything about junk bonds. The point I was trying to get is this another 80s joke where in the 80s bonds were all about how you made money?
Yes, actually.
But now they're
stable. Yes, totally.
Okay.
That's totally actually what. Yes, I think you are right.
I didn't get it.
Yes, and you are correct.
Am I actually correct, or is that actually correct?
I think you are actually correct.
Okay. The point is that was a joke I did not get. Kind of like...
I didn't get it until you just explained it to me, so thank you.
The plot of Trading Places when I was younger, like the climax of Trading Places, they're doing some weird, fancy something about buying and selling, and I'm like, what? But they just made a lot of money. How can they sell something they don't own?
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. Now it makes sense.
I listened to an episode of Planet Money podcast that explained to me what happened.
Yeah.
Thank you, Planet Money.
Thank you, Planet Money.
All right.
God, I got to go listen to that.
So you had seen this before?
Yeah, it's... this didn't hit me in this was not a movie I I feel like my watching of this kind of has that. I know I've seen it because like I know the Julia Gulia stuff. Either I maybe saw it like, it didn't hit me in that rewatching place. It was probably a movie. It's probably one of those movies I've walked in and saw 1,000 like bits of.
Okay.
Or half of it here, or half of it somewhere else, or fell asleep. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those movies. I don't know if I ever consciously sat down and just watched the whole thing until now.
And did you
actually, now that I think about it, I watched it in 2 parts.
Just like the soundtrack. CD1 and CD2.
In my mind. Yes. Yeah. So actually, I've never sat down and watched this movie the whole way through. Now I have something to add to my bucket list.
Bungee jumping?
No, actually sitting down and watching The Wedding Singer from beginning to end without stopping.
There's still time.
Oh, I hope so. God, I hope so.
All right. Well, here's my question for you then. In your fragmented watching of The Wedding Singer.
Yeah.
When did they fall in love?
Wow, we're there.
Yeah.
I think they had a little moment, in the outside. I think they had the moment when they first met outside. They had a little something.
When the boy was puking?
When the boy was puking and just the way that he took care of him. So I think there's something. I think that when they realize it, so I think that they actually just, they're really drawn together in a way that doesn't make sense. Like, I just want to point out one thing about this movie. So this woman who's supposed to be like the sweetest woman on earth, and Drew Barrymore, I mean, just like the way, her personality, as you said, is about sweetness. She thinks that the best way to have somebody that she doesn't actually know that well recover from being left at the altar is to, 1, invite him to sing at her wedding.
To be fair, she did that before.
Way before. Yes. Okay. Oh, no, you're right.
But she insisted.
Yes. And 2, invite her to her engagement party. Like, even if it was someone I knew really well, I would be like, look, you just got left at the altar. Please do not feel like you need to come to my engagement party. Not that I had an engagement party. And 3, help her plan her wedding. In the same town using the same vendors.
Well, she was desperate.
She didn't genuinely need his help.
He actually offered her some advice.
Yes.
And she thanked him. And then she used that as an opportunity to say, I could really use some help. Please help me.
I would feel horrible asking somebody that. Like, that just seems like, or I would mention the fact that this is look, please feel free to say no. Because I'm sure you do not want to go to the same cake shop as the wedding at which you got left at the altar with a note that was somewhere that no one's ever read. Like, that's weird to me. No, but you know what? It's supposed to be fun, so I shouldn't overthink this. But it just, like, that part always really makes me question, like, if they were loved. But I do feel like, so I feel like then where they realized it is at the kiss.
Oh, the practice kiss.
Yeah, so there's a practice kiss, which is like very strangely set up and doesn't quite make sense.
Drew Barrymore's cousin, played by Christine Taylor, her cousin Bonnie, who is a Madonna wannabe.
Yeah.
Ma-wannabe. And she was trying to explain, you can't have like this chaste kiss at your wedding. You got to have like,
they're arguing about whether or not you can kiss
with tongue
in a church, which no one's getting married in a church, but let's
that was kind of strange.
Yeah, I was like, no one ever sets foot inside a church in this whole movie.
Right. No, it's like, no, the venue.
I didn't watch it. I apparently watched it in 3 parts. So maybe there's some part where they go into a church.
No, just a bar mitzvah.
No, but that was at the hall.
No, I know it's at the hall. But no, but that
wouldn't be
tiny plot hole, but that's okay. But the whole idea was, ignore the church side.
Yeah.
In front of your family and friends. And all that
she does mention, but yeah, exactly. Like that you can't go, you're not going to go full
tongue
Frenchy.
Yeah. So they were trying to make the argument, no, it can't be like just like tight-lipped, and they actually say like, no, like, tight-lipped, partially open church tongue.
Yeah. Church tongue. That was a great line. Church tongue.
Church tongue.
So do you think that the cousin is trying to set him up? Like, it just knows and is trying to create a thing where she's kind of like, I want to see them do this because I think that they like each other?
No, I think she was trying really hard to not get kissed by her cousin.
Okay, I'm going to go with mine.
Okay. I don't think
just
that's
looking
the case.
back on it. She kind of wanted to mess with it a little bit, but it seems, because that's the only explanation. Like, why would you?
In general, why would anyone say like, "Hey, Robbie, you're standing there, kiss her," so she can prove a point?
Yeah, and the fact that they like do it to me is that they were. You're right. Now I'm like, maybe they fell in love at a different point. Like, I'd really feel like there were co-conspirators, which is really super cute.
So when Robbie is appearing at that moment right before they're having the conversation. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
He's returning her jacket.
Yeah. This is after the wedding montage.
After the wedding montage. And so Sammy is cracking a joke of like, oh my God, you like her, because Robbie was saying like, oh, that's Julia's jacket. She took it off at this point, this specific streets because she said it was no longer jacket weather. And he's just like, oh my God, you like her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's true. And actually, maybe I might change it.
You're gonna change it. Go on.
Or maybe oh God, now I'm not sure. I was sure. I really felt confident. I think that whole thing that when they set up with the limo, that whole like complicated limo thing, I think the fact that I think she kind of probably fell in love with him then, just that he would set up this whole very complicated, very ridiculous thing to,
Oh, the
yeah, like the cones and the thing. So, yeah, I don't know.
Wow, that's pretty early.
So, yeah, I think it's pretty early. But but the kiss, I think, is when they both really realize. Because they were both like, wow, what, wow.
I think the kiss was a moment of confusion for both of them, where they were slowly moving towards, towards that direction. But I will say, and this is why it gets extra hard for me, because when we were watching, there was a scene, and I'm a notorious fast forwarder, so I was thinking, wow, I didn't watch this. I must have skipped this part every single time. But when I came back to watch the end with you, I double checked your version of it.
Yeah.
And the scene that I
Amazon.
Yeah. And the scene that I saw was not in your version of it. So I was just totally weirded out, because there's a scene in the montage where they're talking to each other, and you've got Rosie in the background lifting weights and just staring at them. Like, that's part of their whole falling in love montage. But it turns out in my version, there is an entire thing where she's working out and talking to Robbie about it. It's a really uncomfortable scene, because she is basically talking about, are you nervous about the size of your penis? And I'm like, Ryan, do you remember any of this in the movie? He's like, what the hell is this scene? And we had no idea.
Wait. I remember there was a scene where he's talking to her right before her wedding, his wedding.
Yeah. No.
The one where he gets left at the altar.
No. That's the first one where with the meatballs is the payment.
And she puts some meatballs in his hands.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
that's the first version. But there's another version of it where she's still talking to him. It's like a continuation of that first uncomfortable story. But then it's just
you're right.
It's weird.
So they fell in love during a scene that none of us have seen except for you and Ryan.
That's what I thought originally. But then the question becomes, well, is that canon? If it's a deleted scene that got like brought in back to this version of it, or if anything else, does it count?
I have no idea.
That's kind of weird. But
we need to listeners, we're going to track down this mystery.
No, I'm not. I'm just gonna.
Oh, we're not. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
No. I'm just
busy week.
I'm just going to say that at some point in the movie, after the kiss, Holly says, "I want to go out with Robbie," and Glenn says, "Well, he's friends with Julia. Julia can do it." The moment, because the scene continues with Julia actually asking Robbie, do you want to go out with Bonnie? And yes, that happens. But even if you completely eliminated that scene, the part where Bonnie says, I want to go out with him, and Glenn says Julia can make it happen. The fact that she has a sad look on her face, that's her moment right there. That's her moment when she realizes that she does not want to do this as much as she wants the happiness of her cousin, and she wants Robbie to be happy. She does not want that, and that's her moment.
See, and I'm thinking, also that the date that they have, that's her moment.
That's her moment.
This scene of this movie I've never seen.
No. That's in yours. That's in yours.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
That's after the.
No, you're right.
That's after the church tongue.
Post church tongue.
It's post church tongue. Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
That's her.
No, you're right. I definitely, she gets super drunk. Yeah,
No. It's before she gets super drunk.
Yeah, that she sees. I know.
She sees them together
in the club.
But his version of it.
Yeah. When does he fall in love with her?
It's when he realizes it, because he even says, "I think I'm in love with her," when he's at the bar, when he's really, really bummed after the date, the double date. You're looking at me like you don't.
No, I get it.
Okay.
I get it. Sorry.
His moment is when
I'm with you.
He realizes Glenn is going to cheat on her as it's happening, and then he has this whole drawing the information out of him, basically saying all of this is just what are you doing? And at that moment he has this thing, is he should not be with her. She should not be with him, she should be with me.
See, I felt like he was looking for confirmation, but this was more insane confirmation than he thought. He just thought this guy's just a jerk.
No, he knew he was a jerk, but not as this is this one step beyond. Not only is he a jerk, she needs to be with me.
Yeah.
The fact that I am this angry, not because you're cheating on her, but because you are this woman.
Yeah.
Is amazing.
This woman is amazing, and you just you don't realize what you have.
Yeah.
You're taking her away from me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's those are my two moments.
All right. So I feel like there's also another one where I'm it confused me that he never explains why he doesn't so at their bachelor party.
The bachelor party, yeah.
He sees her fiance,
yeah,
and sees her with his arm around these women.
Yeah.
And he says, and he doesn't tell her.
Yeah. Well, number one,
why would you not tell her? That's just easy.
Well, number one,
and I would want, as a friend, for somebody to be look, you need to know that. You need to know this. This is what I saw.
I wonder if he was so clouded because he was gonna.
He was very confused.
He was
very drunk.
Very, very drunk. He was going to tell her that he was in love with her, and he saw how happy she was. Not only did he decide that he was not going to tell her that he was in love with her, he wasn't also going to ruin her happiness by letting her know that her fiance is cheating on her.
Oh, okay. That actually makes more sense.
Yeah.
Anyway,
he's such a nice guy.
He's just very nice.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
What do you see? What do you see in the stars for these two crazy kids?
Considering that Drew Barrymore's personality trait is she's sweet. Mm-hmm. She's got nothing else going for her. But what's even more interesting is that it's the same thing for Adam Sandler. He's sweet.
He's funny.
No, he's funny, but he is also just incredibly generous.
Yes,
because he's giving singing lessons for meatballs.
Mm-hmm.
He's there's a whole thing about he gets angry because he can't provide financially, and that's why Linda left him. His ex-fiance. Well, actually, she just wasn't just more about she was about the money and the fact that he wasn't going to be a rock star.
Yeah, and she's like, well, what I realized, I really just like you being in a band.
Yeah, and that was actually a pretty great line. When you had the spandex pants and that top, he's like, I got the pants, I can put them back on. When she's trying to.
Also, he's like, and again, very useful information. Maybe before.
Is it strange?
I stood at the altar because she tells him all this stuff basically 2 days after. Just after
the wedding. Is it weird that every time he did his Adam Sandler thing, I could only see Andy Samberg doing Adam Sandler.
Oh my God, she had that moment.
I did.
I totally had that moment
because he has his own thing, but it's like he's the evolution of the Adam Sandler humor, but he also has a better version of it. His is not just the easy like burr, burr, burr jokes. Instead, it's just he's loud. And
I think this is Adam Sandler. Like I was about to be like, at his most charming. Then I realized, didn't I just confess that I've basically only seen like 3 Adam Sandler movies, including weirdly 8 Crazy Nights?
I don't think. Well, that's not really Adam Sandler so much as.
Well, I mean, it is.
No, I mean, well, animated Adam Sandler. You got to be careful with that whole thing.
Do you really?
Well, no.
I mean,
you just
he built it.
Well,
like I mean, not built it. He wrote it.
You just called him charming, though.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say anything out of that character in 8 Crazy Nights is charming.
Well, yeah, that's why it's the most. I realized actually. So let me amend that. It's the most charming I have seen Adam Sandler of the few Adam Sandler movies that I've seen.
Nowhere near.
And Drew Barrymore is her lovely, lovely. I mean, she does a great job of kind of adding a certain depth to the characters like this that a lot of people don't. In that every time she's on, you really, she's got a face kind of like a flower, and she really does. Radiate kind of humor and just a certain loveliness.
Well, Drew Barrymore comes from an acting dynasty, and if you look at other Adam Sandler movies, or even like other movies where you've got a Saturday Night Live person in a movie where there is also a female love interest, you got to be it's interesting because if you look at Billy Madison, it's Bridget Wilson, who is fine, but she's no Drew Barrymore.
Yeah. She does a great job. I mean, the thing that you're supposed to do is you're supposed to be like, I totally understand why he would fall in love with her.
Okay.
And you instantly get it because you're like, I'm in love with her, even though there's nothing there to this character.
Well, she came to the lessons and she clapped and she ate meatballs.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So it was like back and forth. He wasn't just helping her with their wedding. She was there with him.
They were hanging out. They were doing things together.
Yeah.
And they were doing things that were quotidian, kind of, but also meant a lot to each other.
Hold on.
Lives.
You're using words again that I don't know what they mean.
Quotidian's like, it's very kind of day to day, very like road. It's like just the thing, it's like you and I going to Costco. Remember we like went to Costco together once.
That was for my birthday, so
that was on your birthday. But that was the fun of it, right? That's what I mean. That it was a thing that we all chose to do. That that is a quotidian task, but was something that like, through going through that story, we like learned something about each other's lives, and we had fun. We made it fun. It was like a thing we all needed to do, but you have fun with it.
Okay, apologize for my, birthday celebration.
What are you talking about? I had such a great time at Costco, and now I have this beautiful blanket.
Was it quotidian or was it
quotidian? Is not a negative thing.
You said it's an everyday, day-to-day thing.
It's doing something. Yeah, it's doing something every day, but. My point is that they're doing something that's very day to day.
Who gets to go to Costco every day? Who are these people?
Yeah, I guess you're right. No, but you know what I mean. It's a thing that you.
No, I don't. That's why I asked.
Not every day, but like.
Can we have a cotillion now?
Oh, ridiculous! Wait. Why does cotillion and quotidian?
Because this sounds vaguely similar. I'm this close to asking for a quinceañera.
Oh my God! I would love to throw you a quinceañera.
Can I just? Yeah, let's just have a party.
Oh my God! Can we just have a party?
Okay. Oh, we can go to Costco.
Oh, cool, perfect. But I guess my point is that there are these they're doing things together that are part of each other's lives.
Okay.
And they're basically, it's the movie version of them doing errands together. It's the stuff that you used to do, like that's how my husband and I became really good friends, is we had to go postering a lot. Like we were working on an arts foundation thing, and we had to go like to the laundromat, and then we kind of made it fun.
Wait. You said poster?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm in the laundromat. I am so tired right now. Not the laundromat, but we used to have to. We went to the print shop and the copy shop, and then we would go. Okay, kids.
That makes more sense. I'm just like, You were postering what at the laundromat?
Sorry, I can't believe I used the word. When I'm really tired for some reason, I get very surrealist with my nouns. And that's how we kind of like, in a way, fell in love. Is like doing these, in making, running around town, putting up posters, like, helping each other, like, move objects, and just run errands. We like, because we made them fun, we kind of fell in love. And that's, I guess, how I saw the stuff that they were doing together. And even the stuff like,
what you described, their laundry matting and what have yous.
Their laundry matting.
And the future.
Can we call it laundry matting?
Well, their laundry matting.
I was just thinking that Friends scene when they laundry mat.
Also the future quinceañeras he's going to be singing at. This is going to be their future, actually. They're going to be in this town. They're going to be in this community. They're going to be married. They got married at the end of the movie. They're going to have this life together. They're probably going to stay in that basement for a little while because he needs to make a stable baseline. Granted,
plus she's got to get away from her mom, because her mom is friggin' poison.
Her mom's not the best.
She's not the best.
Yeah. Although the sweetest thing she did say is that, should I marry Glenn? It's just like, why? He's rich, he's handsome, and he almost has it all. But now that he has you, when he does have you, he will.
He will. Oh, that was so sweet.
That was sweet. I'm just
and
like,
then she was really nice to her. She was basically like, look, you have cold feet. Like she was doing, but the scenes before where she was like, you should fake a pregnancy so he'll set a date.
Yeah, that was horrible.
That was
fake a pregnancy.
But
just have cold feet. The thing is, most people.
I just want to do a shout out to Christina Pickles, who is brilliant. I mean, she's just perfect in when she's like this, when she's that kind of.
She's usually kind of really good,
unpleasant, but yet like you can't help but love her.
But nailed it because it's based in a reality.
Yeah, that's the thing. It feels like you can tell that she loves her.
Yeah, and that's what it's going to be. I mean, they'll be in his sister's basement for a little while, but they're going to establish themselves. The community are going to lift him up in one way, and he does have a friend in Billy Idol. And
so
he's not going to. He wants to be a songwriter. Yeah, I think he's got. Well, okay, his songs are not amazing, but they're pretty good.
So Billy Idol makes a cameo in this movie.
I would say that's a full-on.
It was, you're right. It was a full-on scene.
It was
great. That made me deliriously happy.
Don't you talk to Billy Idol that
way. I love how everyone's just totally nonplussed that you have her the first fiance, Glenn Gouliat, is totally nonplussed. Like, I find a Billy Idol on his plane. Like, he doesn't freak out. He's not like, oh my God, how is Billy Idol on this?
He's just like, you better get out of my way, Billy.
He's like Billy. He actually calls him Billy, not Mr. Idol, not oh my God, you're Billy Idol, but Billy. You better get out of my way, Billy. As if like they're old friends and they've met before. It's really strange.
I don't know.
Sorry.
The guy who played Glenn was just very good at it. Yeah. Of course, he's the villain. Of course, he's the jerk. But he
Matthew
played it
Glave. Yeah,
he played it very well, and I thought that was pretty interesting. He had like a Biff Tannen quality about him.
Oh my God!
The whole time I was staring at him, just like, he's very Biff Tannen.
He is very. Oh my God, you're good. Anyway, and he's a certain kind of '80s trope with the like Miami Vice jackets and
he's Miami Vice. He's not a trope, it's just straight up Miami Vice with his DeLorean.
Oh my God, I even forgot about the DeLorean. Okay, so I think it was yellow. Wasn't it yellow?
No,
there was a yellow
there's a yellow car, but that wasn't his. A yellow DeLorean.
Oh, that would be so. That would have
been
been
ridiculous. Polina.
Oh, of course.
Apologize to Biff Tannen.
I'm never gonna apologize to Biff Tannen. I'm gonna stand by my yellow DeLorean. Yeah. Somebody had a yellow DeLorean.
Did you?
I don't know much about DeLorean.
Did you comment on their future? What you
I haven't, but like honestly, I don't have much to add. Like I think you're right about. I totally am gonna say I'm gonna say me too. Like that's obvious because I think I've said this before. They share values.
Oh, yeah.
They share values. They want to have kids. I think you're right. They're going to live in that basement. For a little while. I think, they're going to have kids and be happy. I do actually like the whole... I like that the thing that basically he does. I don't think he's going to become a rock star.
No, he wants to be a
But I
writer.
think he's going to be a songwriter, and and maybe they'll spend a year in,
the basement
in England or wherever Billy Idol lived then. I don't remember. Maybe he lived in LA. I think he might have lived in LA.
I was about to say, what the hell did England? Oh, Billy Idol.
Billy
okay.
Idol. Yeah, you're like, where did this come from?
Well, clearly he was going to
New
Las
York,
Vegas.
or maybe it's like yeah. And weirdly, the last time I was in Las Vegas, or maybe not the last time, but the time before that, I saw Billy Idol, who was just finishing a residency there.
Oh.
But I don't think he was there since 1998.
Okay.
For 20 years. Anyway.
Yep. Yeah, it's just
not that I was a Billy Idol fan when I was younger, but not.
Their romance was very simple.
But I think it's
very,
deep
very straightforward.
because they're good friends.
Well, I also say that because I say that that's how their marriage is going to be: straightforward, simple, and just there. There's not a lot of turbulence between the two of them.
No.
The conflict wasn't that they had this piece of truth that he kept away from her and how dare you. No, it was just like they were both in a relationship and now she's
it was just timing.
Yeah, the conflict was freaking Glenn.
Yeah, the conflict was Glenn.
Yeah.
It was the Gulia.
Yep.
The damn Gulia. If only. I think they have a basis and they adore each other and they think each other is the funniest and the sweetest and they're going to take care of each other.
And they're both. And they're both individually conflicted because she's with Glenn, but she also knows it doesn't feel quite right. And Robbie's just like, no, she's,
No, they are at the 50-year mark are going to.
Yeah.
She's going to sing to him. They're going to be that couple that everybody wants to be like. Everyone's like the couple that, everybody, when other people are getting divorced, is like either they don't want to talk to them because they're like, you guys are too perfect, or are going to be like, we didn't have what you had.
They're going to be the godparents to many children in that community.
Yeah, and I think they're going to have some kids of their own, but I think it's going to be later.
Oh, yeah. Once they're out of the basement.
Yeah, I think they're going to make it.
Yeah. So there it is, The Wedding Singer.
Yeah, enjoy, thoroughly enjoyable.
Yeah.
You can even watch it in pieces, trust me.
But that's on your bucket list.
Yeah, I'm going to
not do that.
To not do that. I'm kidding, it's actually not on my bucket list.
That's why would you lie to the people earlier?
I think I'm hoping that they know enough about me to know that my bucket list tries to aim a little higher. Or that I couldn't ever decide to have a bucket list. That's probably more like I couldn't commit because I can't even commit to a Beatles v. Rolling Stones conversation. Probably Rolling Stones.
Interesting.
Oh, I've gone back and forth on this like 18 times. It still hurts.
That makes sense.
Okay.
All right. So thank you very much for joining us on this whirlwind of a Wedding Singer episode.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you want to chime in on how Polina really needs to learn how to make up her mind about
I made up my mind with the help of Diana.
Star Wars. So you can chime in.
That's the only one I feel confident about.
We're on Twitter.
Actually, Star Trek's better. Anyway.
Okay, we're on Twitter.
We are on Twitter
at HEAMCast.
HEAMCAST.
And check us out on Facebook at Happily Ever Aftermath.
Yeah.
You can always reach us, contact at HEAMCast.com.
If you like long form email.
Or if you want to tell Polina what she should really put on her bucket list.
Yes, please. Anybody tweet at us what Polina should have on her bucket list. And if just make sure they don't cause me to go into conflict.
So I have to say, and if you like the show, if you're still around and you still like us, you can
even after this episode,
you can rate, review, and subscribe.
And or subscribe your friends.
Oh, I was about to say you can tell your friends.
Yeah,
but if you want to
friends and you just grab the phone away from them and run if they have a nice phone.
HEAMCast is not responsible for the friendships lost due to your actions on Polina's recommendations. Thank you. We're on Spotify, YouTube. If you need more information on how to convince your friends that we're easy
just
to
say
find.
nicely, grab their podcatcher and type in happily aftermath, and then go subscribe, and then that's it.
And
then politely hand your phone back to your friend.
Tell you what, why don't you
say I appreciate you and our time together.
Why don't you, instead of foisting us upon them, you can take a look at some of the other great Lady Pod Squad things. You can check out hashtag Lady Pod Squad on all the social media. We just got back from a meetup.
Yes.
It was really great.
A Magritte-themed meetup.
Yeah, it was all the Bay Area Lady Pod Squad members. We were joined by Heidi from Vibrant Visionaries podcast,
which has its first episode.
Yeah, just
a baby. It's a new one.
It's great. It's really great. But she has also done Cabin in the Woods minute cast. Yeah, I think it's
that's
Cabin in the Woods
brilliant
cast.
Idea,
Spinal Tap minute.
Oh my god, yeah, I'm super excited because you know I love Spinal Tap's one of my favorites.
Heidi knows what she's doing, so that's really great. We did get to meet Heather from Nerdy Bitches,
which was really crazy because the whole time I was like, hey, yeah, I was just listening to someone on a podcast talk about how, oh wait, that was you.
Well, I did recommend these to you, so.
And actually, I've been listening to Nerdy Bitches for
a while. Yeah. Whereas I have been listening to Indoors Women, and we got to meet Meg today.
Yeah, and you've been telling me about it, and I finally sat down and listened, and that was a really, really fun podcast.
Nerd crush on both of them. So
yeah, totally.
They're absolutely amazing. And then I actually had the chance to meet her before, but Jax from Two Cats podcast.
Super fun.
And so, it was wonderful meeting them.
I enjoyed playing the Magritte-themed food game.
We had a great time with them, and they have fantastic podcasts. So check them out if you have lost all your friends because of Polina's advice. You're going to need more podcasts to listen to.
Yeah, exactly. Because you with all of those, you'll feel like you have friends, and
they're actually like really cool friends. So
they're actually people you kind of want to be friends with.
You may upgrade after that.
But don't steal their phone. I think that if that didn't work for you the first time, it's probably not going to work for you.
All right, I'm going to make Polina stop giving you bad advice and instead give her the floor.
I need a different podcast where I just give bad advice.
I'm going to give you the floor.
Is that a good idea?
Let the wonderful people know what we're going to be talking about next.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about The Apartment, which is a movie from the 60s. And has Shirley MacLaine in it, and it's just fantastic. I'm really, really excited to watch this, and I hope you are too. It's a great movie.
Okay, there it is.
So enjoy it, and then tune in
that order.
Yes, yeah. Or I mean, you could always just tune in and decide if you
want. Cut off your advice. I'm commandeering the podcast back.
Anybody want to know how to cook? I have some cooking tips.
Thanks again for joining us.
Yes, please.
All right.
We will see you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Are you feeling down because when you rewatch your favorite movie from your childhood, you start to notice some troubling aspects?
Are you bothered by the sexism, racism, and homophobia in your favorite movies?
Are you wondering whether or not it's still cool to watch and enjoy those things?
Well, we have a podcast for you to help you work through all those feelings.
Hi, I'm Kristen.
And I'm Elizabeth.
And we're the hosts of our new podcast called Your Fave is Problematic.
We're going to take all of the pop culture things you love and dive into them and decide if we still love them or not.
Available every Tuesday wherever you listen to podcasts.
We'll see you there.